My name is Cheyann Gray. Whenever I was little, I always wanted to be a mother. I had baby dolls on baby dolls, and that's all I did was play house, and now I get to do that in real life as an adult. After I graduated, I went to OTC and then MSU, and I wanted to be a teacher, but motherhood found me before I became a teacher, so I transitioned into being a mom and taking up photography. I found out about the Doula Foundation through my own research. When I first came to the foundation, I was very early on in my pregnancy. I'm someone that tends to overplan a bit. But as my pregnancy progressed, I hit some bumps in the road and a couple of stressors. And at 8 months pregnant, I had decided to leave an abusive situation I was in. One of the first people I called directly after leaving that day was Jordana to let her know I was going to have to miss an appointment. And I broke down in tears halfway through the call and let her know everything that was going on and really confided in her. It was like I was talking to someone I'd known my whole life, like my best friend. And this was someone I had just met months ago. So directly after the phone call, Jordana sent me tons of resources, everything that we could possibly need to help us in this situation. And we made sure that I still had the pregnancy and birth that I wanted, even in a tough situation. From the moment I met her, I felt like she was someone that truly cared about me, which is so strange because you go into this and you're strangers, but after you're so close and you share so many vulnerable moments. Leading up to the due date, I was moving an entire house into a new apartment with my son. I had the heat on top of us. It was 106 outside, and the night that I moved in, I got a peaceful night's rest in our new home. We felt safe and secure, and that's when baby decided it was time to come. The next morning, we were on our way to the hospital, and he was ready to go now that he knew we were all settled in. My birth experience, I can tell you that it was a dream, and I don't think anyone says that whenever they talk about childbirth completely. I can tell you every wish was granted, and I had the best experience. And I think going through a high-stress pregnancy, it was my little treat at the end to have the exact birth I wanted. Jordana was there immediately as soon as I told her, hey, I think it's go time. And it all went so smoothly and routinely, but had I not had the education and the support of my doula, I don't know how I would have got through that, honestly. And it was beautiful. It was beyond anything I could have ever imagined. And having her there, I couldn't imagine having anyone else there. And at the end of it, I got to meet my baby boy, and that moment is just magical. Any mother will tell you that. It was such a redeeming moment after all I had went through. Life with two boys is about as hectic as it sounds, but it's so fun. They're great. My son is obsessed with being a brother. From the moment he met him, he told everyone, he looks just like me, that's my brother. My youngest, Bodhi, he just laughed for the first time today, and that just was, oh my goodness, something I'll never forget. I feel like the Doula Foundation is a great resource. So I think they're great for anyone, and I recommend them to anyone.
My name is Jordana, and I am a birth doula at the Doula Foundation. My favorite thing about the Doula Foundation and what I get to do every day here is being able to help moms, being able to connect with them due to personal experiences I've had, and seeing where they're at and the needs that they have. And some of the moms are completely birthing alone, and knowing that I can be there to help them not only navigate everything that they're going through, but also be there for them emotionally and physically, and just to see that impact in what I do. When I first met Cheyann, I thought, wow, this is an amazing mom. She had her sweet little boy with her. I thought, I'm so excited to get to know her more and her story. During the first prenatal appointment, we discussed how I can help her as a doula, and we really discussed exactly what her needs were, not only with the birth, but also personally if there was any needs going on. And she did share with me some, and at that point, we kind of created a game plan moving forward with our future prenatal appointments. And I know she had told me that she left the appointment feeling a lot more confident moving forward in the pregnancy and the birth. So farther along in our time together, I did receive a phone call from her. Up until then, I thought everything was going great, but the phone call, she became very emotional and shared with me some experiences that she was going through that was very traumatic. And at that moment, I became very concerned because the tone in her voice, what she was telling me, had completely done a 180 from where we were at. And at that point, I knew that I needed to help her and change my perspective of the support that I was giving her at that time. So I immediately went into more of a CHW mode of how can I help her? How can I connect her with community resources? How can we create a game plan for her to help with this? So the following week we met at the foundation as soon as she was available. And I just let her tell me all about it, everything that was going on, and assured her that I was going to be there for her and help her walk through this the best that I could. It's not just about the birth and me being there. It's also about making sure that they safely get to that moment in their pregnancy journey. Because sometimes the moment you find out you're pregnant and then the moment you give birth, there's a whole life that you live in there. And for a lot of our moms, that life that they're living is very bumpy and complicated and full of lots of trials. And that's what this mama was going through, is she didn't even get to the birth yet, and she was already really needing assistance so that she can make it to her birth safely and with confidence. Once we got to the birth and it was time to have baby, I got a phone call from her that said that she was pretty sure she was going into labor. And so I met her up at the hospital. And one of the things that we did during her prenatal visits was help her create her birth wishes. When we didn't call it a birth plan because it rarely ever goes to plan. But in this case, I will say it went according to all of her wishes, which I could cry thinking about that, because with everything that she went through, to see her be able to have the birth that she really wanted, and it just miraculously worked out that way. It was empowering to me, and I could see her building strength with each contraction as she was going through that labor. And so I saw her grow during it, and I saw her gain confidence during her labor, which was beautiful. Just to see her afterwards, after baby was born, and she was able to look back on that, and I'll never forget her looking up at me with tears streaming down her face, holding her sweet little boy, saying, I did it. And I know that meant so much more than just I had the baby. I did all of that. That's what I remember, is just seeing that courageous woman do all of that. Cheyann is just one of many women that I have served already that are going through these circumstances and have trials that they are facing every day that is detrimental not only to their health, sometimes their safety, but also their baby, their pregnancy, and their mental health and well-being. And so when I'm able to connect with them and meet them and say, hey, here's a helping hand, like I'm here to help you and support you and walk through this with you. I'm not just there to be at your birth, to cheer you on and do all the things that all the doulas do at the birth, but I'm here to help walk this journey with you and whatever that looks like in your life, whatever that needs. And that's such an important component of being a community-based doula. And it is so important that we are able to do so much more, because there are so many moms out there that need more than just someone to be there at their birth. I am so thankful for the community and everyone that is there to volunteer and sponsor and support the Doula Foundation, because we couldn't do what we do every day without your support. It's so big, and the women that we serve would not have the impact in their lives and their pregnancies and birth that we're able to make without that support. It's a domino effect. And so I just am so thankful for everyone who has been there and supported us.